confession that you made that Jesus is Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the same with business. It's the same with just, who you are now needs to be reflected in who you hang out with. And where you want to go and who you want to be in the future also needs to be reflected by who you hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the saying that, if you want to fly with eagles, you can't be on the ground clucking with chickens.
Yeah.
Chickens can't fly. And
Yep.
so if you're ready to soar, then you need to be around some other eagles that are going to help you fly.
That's right.
And so I love it. People underestimate, I think, the power of their circle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I have a young lady that I met in the airport probably almost a month ago now. I was on my way back from our service in Atlanta. And we just got to talking. I was being nosy. I overheard a conversation. She was speaking to someone about an HBCU. They were talking about the black college experience and homecoming, and of course, I went to an HBCU. So I felt like, hey, I can join this conversation. They're not talking to me, but I'm going to butt in anyway because, hey, this was my life. So, long story short, what happened, what came about from me jumping in on this conversation and making a connection with people is that I gained an intern.
Nice.
And Daniel, we gained an intern for the network.
Nice.
It's really awesome. She's going to be home for the summer, and when she goes back, she wants to continue helping. But she is a music production major.
Awesome.
She is, actually, she's a communications major, and her concentration is music production. She wants to do all of the social media stuff. She wants to do the writing. I met with her. We spent 2 hours together just talking about what her interests are and what she wants to do. And as we're going through everything, and I'm saying, hey, we need graphics, we need this, we need that, she's like, this all sounds good.
Amazing.
But it's because she understood that she needs a mentor, not just for where she is now, but for where she wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that in her, and I appreciate that about her. And it's just amazing.
Yes,
and
it is.
I told her the same thing that I tell everyone that I mentor, or anyone looking for a mentor. You don't just need a mentor for where you are right now. You need someone that represents where you've come from, where you are now, and where you want to be.
That's right. That's right.
You need someone who knows what you've been through, has seen you grow, and can get down into it and really, like you said, Daniel, speak life.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking life is not always what we want to hear, but speaking life is what we need to hear.
Yep.
So you need someone that can say, hey, I remember when you used to do X, Y, and Z, and you don't do that anymore, but you're acting bullheaded, you're acting stubborn, and you're going to end up where you came from. If you don't, you know what I'm saying? You need people in your life that are going to help you see that about yourself. And the most successful people in the world are not those who are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
They're those who have failed and failed and failed, and that's why they succeed.
Yep, that's right.
They succeed because they've taken what they messed up on. They probably had some really, really great people in their lives to encourage them, tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to find 1,000 ways not to do something.
Yep.
And then it got to the point where they found that one way that worked, and that's what makes them successful. But we can't lose sight of that.
Yep.
And that's part of having a great circle.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And everyone who is a friend and family of the Melting Pot Radio Network, they know how amazing our circle is. And why, we even have this network right now is pretty much based on the circle that we have. When, you're around positive people, entrepreneurs that's really going out there and going hard every day, guess what? It pushes you to go out there and go hard every day too. It really does. So that's why that circle is very, very important. And Danny, you hit it right on, man. Like, it's crazy how important and how powerful your circle can be. And, it's another one of those things that we overlook far too often and just say, you know what, the people aren't that bad. They're not bad people. And I'm going to be real with you. I have a lot of friends who are really good people, but they do things that I personally don't do no more in my life. So I'm not going to say they're not my friends anymore, because I love them. They're still my friends, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to give them as much as my time, because those people that you have around you, those people speaking life into you, those mentors you have, those peers who are doing things, they all affect you in so many different ways. And, the more that you see, the more that you hear, all those things that's going into those ear gates and those eye gates, they start to dwell in your mind. So if you're just constantly around people that's negative, it's going to rub off on you. It just is. So your time is very important. So Danny, your circle is amazing. And, our circle, look, our first few weeks having the Melting Pot Radio Network, our first few guests that we had on, we had Bishop Emmanuel Coleman on, we had Jonathan Kegler on, we had Connie S. Falls on. And now they're a part of the network. They are amazing people doing amazing things, and now they're a part of our network, working together with us and on a mission. We're on a mission to really change lives. So when you have a positive circle of people who are focused on the same end goal, and each and every one of us, we're in different aspects of our lives. We don't really do the same thing, but guess what? We have the same goal of really helping people. So when you can combine those different mentalities, those different thoughts, those different personalities, those different gifts and talents, and really putting it together for the greater good, amazing things can and will happen. So your circle is key. It is key, Danny.
Absolutely.
And I don't know how much time you got left, but I want to jump into another tip real quick, and I want to let you touch on it real quick. Taking responsibility. Becoming a positive thinker starts with the man in the mirror. So when you do something wrong, you can't start pointing fingers. You can't start the blame game. You have to take responsibility for what you do, because you are in charge of your life. No one has any control over your life. And, the old saying that people used to say that I could not stand was, if somebody put a gun to your head, you would do it. No. I mean, that's not really true. If you don't want to do something, you won't do it. How strong are you on your will? How strong are you in your convictions that, if I say I'm not going to do something, you can't do anything to make me do it. So when you do something wrong, being that person that goes up and says, you know what, I was wrong, it's my mistake, it's my fault, I'm going to work on myself, and just keep going. Guess what? Those people that surround you, they start to notice those things, and they start to look at you in a much different light, because they are so used to people always pointing fingers. And if you're in any type of leadership position, guess what? It may not have actually been you that made the mistake. It may have been one of your employees, one of your workers, whatever the case is. But you can't point the blame. You still have to look at yourself and say, you know what? It's my fault. I should have taught you this a little better. I should have worked on this a little better. It's my leadership that caused that mistake, and I'm going to work on me, and you're good. You will change lives, Danny. So can you talk real quick about taking responsibility before you jump off?
Yeah, I think that taking responsibility is a sign of maturity.
Mm-hmm.
I have the opposite issue where I take too much responsibility. So I tend to blame blame myself for everything, whether it's something that I actually did or not. I might not have had anything to do with the situation, but, you know, maybe because of relationships or whatever, I tend to bear or feel the need to bear the burden of someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not good either.
Nope,
it's
that's
that
not.
balance where you're able to admit that you've done wrong, or you're able to take responsibility as a leader for, the missteps or mistakes of your team. And knowing that even if you did not do it yourself, it's your team, you're the leader. So ultimately, you have a level of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what you do with it. You can admit all day long that you were wrong. But if your behavior doesn't change after admitting that you've done something wrong, then you are still not taking responsibility. Taking responsibility is, everyone knows this is the Christian network, so I relate it to the Bible, where it says, godly sorrow brings repentance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kicker. When you truly are sorry about something, when you truly understand the magnitude of your mess up, you won't continue to make the same mistake.
Yep.
You're going to find a way or make one that allows you the space and opportunity to correct your mistakes.
Yep.
You're going to that whole I'm taking responsibility for my actions. It's going to produce something fruitful. You can't take responsibility for your actions and end up harvesting dead seeds. It doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
when you
right.
take responsibility for something that you've done, good, bad, or whatever, you're taking steps to harvest something fruitful, something productive, something beneficial. Because, and it might not be anything like tangible. It might mean that you've taken a greater step toward maturity. It might mean you've taken a greater step in understanding that you can't do everything on your own. So what it causes you to do is delegate responsibility more.
Yep.
So that you're not doing everything on your own.
That's right.
So there's so many things that, as we grow and as we mature and as we develop emotionally and professionally and spiritually, all these things tie into one another, and you can't compartmentalize everything that you do and say, oh, I do this in business and I do this when I'm at home. My pastor says something. He says, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
That's right.
So if you are undisciplined in your eating, you're going to be undisciplined in your business planning. If you are undisciplined and you don't read, you are going to be undisciplined when it comes to signing contracts or developing contracts.
Yeah.
You're going to sign something that you have no business signing. Why? Because you don't have the discipline to be a consistent reader. And so when something is placed before you, as opposed to reading through it, you're going to skim over it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to miss some very important and pertinent information that you need.
That's right. That's right. And I'm trying to think. I can't think of the scripture. It's in my head. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit because I can't really think of it to the key. But as you said, as you do one thing is how you do everything. And God tells us anything that we have with our hands to do with all our might. So that's another thing that you need to understand as far as being a positive thinker and doing things in a positive way, that whatever it is that you do, give everything that you have. You can't give a little bit, you can't give some, you got to give everything. You're married, I'm married, and so I can't I can't go